Hey, what's up everybody? I'm Rob Sanchez, aka Mixmaster Pro, and today we're going to be mastering a song by Austin Ballard called Last Night. Let's check it out. All right, so first we're going to listen to the song and see if there's anything that we can pick out right away. Okay, so when the vocals come in, I notice that they're a little harsh in the highs. Typically, I'd want to throw maybe a de-esser in the mix to get that taken care of before the mastering stage. But since we're here in a 2-track, we don't really have that option. So I'm gonna have to get creative in de-essing and also still keeping high-end harmonic content in the mix. Another thing I noticed is the drums could be a little punchier. They're a little laid back in the mix, which is cool, but for the master, what I'm gonna do is bring those a little more to the forefront with some parallel compression. So what I'm hearing mainly is that there's a lot of S-ing in the vocals and that the mix is set a little back from the voice, which is okay. We're gonna glue it together a little bit more though. So the first thing I'm gonna do is pull out some EQ. And for this, I'm gonna use the Brainworks VQ3 because I can do mid-side EQ. And what that means is I can affect the mono section and the stereo section separately. So what I'll do is just dip down a little bit of 5K on the mono section. Same with the stereo, just a little bit of 5K. But on the stereo section, I'm gonna boost the highs just a little bit, but I'm not gonna do a treble boost. I'm gonna adjust the presence. There's a presence shift adjuster here on this EQ that I like a lot. All right, let's hear what that sounds like. I miss you too, but I know that it's fine, it's right, whatever. We'll bypass it. This is our last night. These highs are a lot smoother. Another thing I want to do here, since I'm in this EQ, I can open up the mono maker, and what that's going to do is make everything below a certain frequency or threshold mono. So we'll put that right around 70 hertz, so center up that low end. Okay, so now that I've tamed the highs a little bit, I'm gonna go ahead and add a little clarity. Something that adds high end but doesn't sound too piercing or shrill is by Universal Audio again. That is the Dangerous Bax EQ. They have a mastering version and a mixing version, and for this purpose, I'm gonna use the mastering version. So what I wanna do here is I'm gonna add a shelf at around 2.5K to the high end and do about a 2 dB boost. And I'm also gonna add a shelf to the low end at 361 to add some warmth because there's like a hole there in the low mids that I'm hearing and I want to affect that a little bit. So let's play it back from the same area. I miss you too, but I know that it's fine, it's right, whatever we do. This is our last night. We'll bypass that. Bring it back. Just a little bit more exciting. And we'll do a cut around 70 hertz. And I'm gonna add a little bit of level to it. Let's listen to that disengage. You'll notice that there's a lot more low mid information. It sounds a little more glued together. All right, cool. I think that's sounding pretty fun so far. So still in the idea of taming the highs, I'm gonna throw in the API 560 and that is a graphic EQ. And I'm just gonna bring down a little bit of 16K and a little bit of 8K, and a little bit around 1K as well. Just scoop out some of those low mid, that muddiness that I'm hearing.
I miss you too, but I know that it's fine, it's right, whatever we have to do.
Bypass. You can hear that high end is still pretty sizzly, so throw it in. Bring a little bit of that 16K back. And now I'm gonna use this to contour the track a little bit. So I'm gonna bring out a little bit of 30, a little bit of 60. There we go, now it doesn't sound so booming. Great. So now that we've carved out some high end and a little bit of the extreme lows, I'm gonna use a tilt EQ, because what I'd like to do is tame the mids and the highs. We've done a lot of sculpting in the high end, and we've carved out a little bit of the lows, but to even everything out, what I'd like to use this tilt EQ for is to take down some of those mids in conjunction with the highs and boost some of the lows. All right, let's play with that tilt EQ engaged. And what I'm gonna do is just tilt a little bit towards the left, and you can see that the what that's doing is bringing up some of the low end. Thanks again, UAD, for providing these plugins for our academy. You can hear a lot of that high mid content in there when you take it out. And when you put it back in, everything just sounds a lot rounder. And I think that's it. I might put a little filter in there to just shave off some of the high frequencies, not too much. Just make it sound a little more musical. We'll bypass again. Engaged. Cool. The next thing we're gonna do is use the Oxford Dynamic EQ in the high mids and highs. And that's also another UAD plugin. Super, super dope, love it. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna be cutting around 3K because I think that's where the treble frequencies still are in the mix. So let's go ahead and listen to it at the build section. We'll take it in bypass. And it's just a little hard at 3K. It doesn't sound bad, but I wanna soften that because I'm gonna be limiting later, and that's gonna bring those frequencies out. So I'll take the threshold up just a little bit, so we're just touching it. And I'm gonna make a longer release time and a shorter, faster attack time. Let's bypass it. Just sounds like there's a little more depth there in the mid-range. Great. Okay. So the next thing is going to be our Brainworks master desk. And what that's simulating is running everything, our whole mix through a console. And in this, I've started with a preset. It's pretty fun. I think it fits the music well. It's called House Club Master. And what that's doing is it's giving me a parallel compression, some de-essing, and then some tone controls. So let's see what that does, and we'll adjust from there. Go back to the verse. And girl, you look so gorgeous in the starlight, just like our past bypass. Night, but baby, it's the last time. So while it's in bypass, I heard a little something. I'm gonna bring the stereo enhance up just a little bit, and we'll bring it back. Just widen the mix out a little bit. Let me bring the highs just a little bit down. So what I want to do is balance the treble and the presence. There we go. And take some of the harmonic distortion down just a little bit. Let's listen to it more off.
This is our last time. This is our last night, like I met you in a past life. The way we fit together like a pack ride. Yeah, just like last night.
There we go.
We split the last pint. You said share my heart just like the last bite. Yeah,
Great. Okay, so I think that sounds pretty good so far. The mix is coming together. It does, since we did all the taming of the highs, sound a little bit dull to me, but I don't want to add an EQ to the master. So what I can do is do some parallel processing, and we're going to go ahead and start doing that now. So the first thing I want to do is, I know that I'm not going to want to affect the whole frequency band of the content, so I'm going to add an EQ as part of my parallel processing chain. And for that, we're going to use the Fab Filter Pro Q3, and I'm going to add a low cut with a really smooth 6 dB per octave slope, and we're going to cut at around 200 hertz. We'll start there.
And girl, you look so gorgeous in the starlight, just like our past nights. But baby, it's the last time, so let's just take it slow. This ain't no fast time. Yeah, it's the last night.
All right, cut a little more of the lows out because I really don't want it to overlap what's already there in the mix. So the whole reason I'm cutting out the lows is because I plan to add some harmonic distortion to this parallel processing chain, and I don't want to add that distortion to the low end of the track. So my next plugin is the Vertigo VSM3. And what that's going to allow me to do, we'll play this while we do it, is it's going to allow me to add a little bit of high frequency distortion, as well as a little bit of limiting, and some third order harmonic distortion. Let's listen to that.
Girl, you look so gorgeous.
So I'll mute that parallel track so you can hear what it's doing. Still sounds good, but it's a little flat in the mix. What this harmonic distortion is allowing us to do is create a lot more high-end content that's controlled and add excitement to the mix. Now, I don't want to add too much, so I'm going to go ahead and control that with two plugins. I'm going to use the DS. I'm going to use the Fab Filter Pro DS. And what I want to do is audition. So if I want to audition this, I have to go into pre-fader mode. There we go. And I can hear what the de-esser is going to be controlling or taming. That 3K region is really what I want to get with a little bit of that bite. Okay, so let's add it back in. So we've got our de-esser on here, and we've run it on our parallel track. The next thing I'm going to throw on here is Soothe. And this is a plugin that's really going to take out some resonances in the mids for us. I'm going to run it full range, which is really down to just under 250. And what I want to do here is make sure that I have oversampling on, because we're running at 48 for our sample rate. So if I double that, it's going to effectively take us to 96 within the plugin. And then I'm going to run it at high resolution. And the reason I'm doing this is because it gives more detail, and I want to get as much accuracy as possible out of this since we're mastering.
And girl, you look so gorgeous in the starlight.
Let's bypass
like
that.
our past nights, but baby, it's the last time.
There's just a little bit in the 3 to 5K range that's just a little too hard, a little too forward. So Soothe helps clean that up a bit. So I'm going to take the sharpness up. Just gets a little more clarity. And selectivity upward. Great. start from the top. Just listen to this song through once. I'm gonna go back and forth on the processing and see where we're at right now.
This is the last night, and girl, you look so gorgeous in the starlight, just like our past nights. But baby, it's the last time.
Let's maybe EQ our parallel a little bit more. I'm gonna bring some more air out. So I'm gonna add a high shell.
It's the last night, 'cause I'm going south and you're going west.
We're gonna bring it back so it sounds natural.
I know that it hurts are the best. I know that you miss me,
Cut off the extreme highs because we don't need those.
but I know that it's fine, it's right, whatever we do. This is our last night. Starlight,
And let's get our de-esser pumping a little bit more.
last time. This is our last time. This is our last. It's like I met you in a past life. The way we fit together like a
There we go.
black rhyme. Yeah, just like last night. We split the last pint.
All right, let's listen to it without processing.
Like the last bite. Yeah, for the last time. We were meant to be together. It just wasn't for forever. But no matter what,
I think that sounds a lot clearer and more balanced. It's punchier and it's a louder mix
smiling like a prom queen. Put your
without too much compression limiting.
believe, yeah, we believe it's not this is our last night. Start.
And last but not least, what we'd like to do is just throw a little bit of glue or a little bit of compression on that parallel bus. So I'm gonna throw SSL's G bus compressor. And we're gonna use a really light ratio, just 2:1. We'll set the attack to 30. We'll put the threshold all the way up to 15 because we really just wanna touch it. Not too much makeup gain, and we'll set the release to auto. Let's see what that sounds like. We'll start there.
This is the last night.
Bypass.
And girl, you look so gorgeous in the starlight, just like our past nights. But baby,
A little too much
it's
high
the
content
last
coming out.
time.
So what I wanted to
So
do
let's just take it slow. This ain't
is make
no
that attack a little
fast
faster.
time. Yeah, it's
Hit
the
those
last
transients
night.
sooner.
'Cause I'm going south and you're going west. I know that it hurts, but it
Bring
hurts
that
the
threshold
best.
down just a bit.
I know that you miss me, I miss you too. But I know that it's fine, it's right, whatever we do. This is our last night.
Bypass.
Starlight,
Just a little more glue.
no fast time.
Great. I think we're done. Hey everyone, thanks again for watching. Feel free to leave any comments or questions down below. And don't forget to subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Instagram to keep up with everything that's going on with Mixmaster Pro.